Sit down, my friend. Don't be afraid of the quiet that fills this cabin tonight. In the world you come from, silence is often treated like an enemy, isn't it? It's treated like a void that needs to be filled, a gap that needs to be bridged, or a ghost that needs to be exorcised. People fill every waking second with noise, screens, and the echoes of other people's voices, terrified of what they might hear if the music suddenly stopped. But here, in the cold heart of the mountains, silence is not a void, it is our most respected and ancient teacher. Tonight, I want to speak to you about a lost art, the art of being alone. Most people confuse solitude with loneliness, but they are as different as the light of the sun and the cold of the moon. Loneliness is a hunger, a painful feeling of lack, a desperate and frantic search for someone else to fill a hole in your soul. But solitude? Solitude is a feast. It is the discovery that you are, in fact, enough. It is the strength that comes when you no longer need the world to tell you who you are, because you have finally had the courage to meet yourself in the absolute stillness of the night. We live in an age of constant, frantic connection, yet people have never felt more profoundly disconnected. We have thousands of friends and followers tucked away in our pockets, but no one to actually hold our silence with. We flee from ourselves at the speed of light, chasing distractions like children chasing fireflies in the dark. We use the noise of the crowd to drown out the whispers of our own hearts because we are terrified of what those whispers might say. Why are we so afraid to be alone? It's because in the silence, the masks fall off. You cannot perform for an audience when the room is empty. You cannot hide behind your job title, your expensive clothes, or your clever jokes when there is no one there to applaud. In solitude, you are forced to look at your own thoughts, your own fears, and your own startling beauty without any filters or safety nets. Many people find this mirror terrifying, so they run. They stay busy, stay loud, stay distracted until their very last breath. But I tell you, until you can be truly happy sitting in a room alone with nothing but your own mind, you will never be truly free. You will always be a slave to the attention, the validation, and the whims of others. You will be a prisoner of the world's opinion. Think of a great oak tree standing in the middle of a vast, windswept field. It stands alone against the winter gales and the scorching summer sun. Because it is solitary, it cannot lean on its neighbors for support. Its branches cannot weave into the branches of others to stay upright. Therefore, its roots must go deeper, much deeper, than the trees in a crowded, sheltered forest. It must find its own secret sources of water, its own unique balance, and its own internal rhythm. And because of that struggle, that tree becomes majestic. It develops a gnarled, unbreakable character that a forest tree, protected and crowded, can never know. You are like that solitary tree, my friend. Your time in solitude is not wasted or empty time, it is your rooting time. It is the period when you build the invisible internal structure that will hold you up when the inevitable storms of life arrive. A person who has mastered solitude is like a mountain fortress. You can take everything away from them, their status, their money, their social circle, and they will still be standing tall, because their foundation is built on the solid rock of self-knowledge, not the shifting, treacherous sands of public approval. They are anchored in their own soul, and that anchor holds in any weather. I remember a young man who came to these mountains many years ago, fleeing the wreckage of a broken heart and the ashes of a failed career. He arrived here frantic, his eyes darting like a trapped bird. He was constantly checking his dead phone, pacing the floor of this cabin like a caged animal, his breath short and shallow. He couldn't stand the quiet for even 10 minutes, it felt like a weight crushing his chest. He felt that if no one was looking at him, if no one was acknowledging his existence, he had ceased to exist entirely. He was a ghost in his own life. I told him to go sit by the frozen lake and watch the dark water until he saw himself. Not his physical reflection, but his self. It took 3 agonizing weeks. 3 weeks of boredom, irritation, anger, and many tears shed in the cold air. But then, one evening, he came back with a look of peace I have never forgotten. He sat by this very fire and said, "Christopher, I realize that I've spent my whole life running away from a person I actually quite like. He had finally met the man behind the masks. He didn't need a fancy job title or a partner's praise to tell him he was valuable. He found his inherent value in the simple, sacred act of breathing in the mountain air. He left this cabin not with a new 5-year plan, but with a new, unshakable soul. He had turned his loneliness into solitude. Solitude is the laboratory of the human spirit. It is the sacred space where great ideas are born, where deep, ancient healing happens, and where the quiet, steady voice of intuition finally gets a chance to be heard over the roar of the ego. In the noise of the world, everyone is shouting at you, telling you what to want, what to fear, what to buy, and exactly who you should be. It's like being trapped in a room with 100 radios all playing different stations at maximum volume. Solitude is the steady hand that turns those dials off, one by one, until there is only one frequency left, your own unique, divine vibration. When you finally listen to that frequency, you start to remember things you've long forgotten. You remember your childhood dreams before the world told you they were unrealistic. You remember your true values before they were buried under the need for survival. You remember the quiet strength that has been waiting for you all along, like a patient friend. You realize that you don't need to go out and find yourself in some distant land, you just need to stop losing yourself in the faceless crowd. There is a profound, cosmic difference between being alone and being lonely. You can be lonely in a long marriage, lonely at a crowded party, or lonely in a stadium full of screaming fans. Loneliness is a spiritual warning light, a sign that you have become disconnected from your own essence, your own source. Solitude is the deliberate, beautiful cure for that disconnection. It is an intentional act of homecoming. When you choose to spend time alone, you are making a powerful statement to the universe: I am worth my own time. I am enough. You are building a deep, lasting friendship with the person you spend every single second of your life with, yourself. And once that inner friendship is solid and unbreakable, you will find that your relationships with others undergo a miraculous change. You will stop looking for people to complete you like a puzzle piece, and start looking for people to share your completeness with. You stop being a beggar for scraps of love and attention, and you start being a radiant source of it. You no longer need, you simply are. Look at the fire in front of us, my friend. Watch how each log burns with its own individual flame. They are close together, sharing the heat, yes, but each one must consume its own wood to stay alive. If a log hasn't learned the internal art of burning on its own, it will never contribute to the fire, it will only create bitter smoke and eventually put the whole fire out. To be a truly good partner, a loyal friend, or a wise leader, you must first master the fire of solitude. You must know your own heat, your own light, and your own limits. This is why the great sages, prophets, and thinkers of human history always retreated into the desert, the forest, or the mountains before they began their true work. They needed the absolute silence to burn away the dross of society's expectations. They needed to know what was left of them when everything else, the titles, the praise, the noise, was stripped away. Don't fear the stripping away, my friend. What remains after the fire is the only thing about you that was ever real. I want you to make a sacred pact with yourself tonight, right here in the glow of these embers. Don't wait for a crisis or a tragedy to find your way to solitude. Build a cabin within your own mind. Take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour every single day to be completely unreachable to the world. Turn off the digital noise. Put down the phone. Sit in the dark or walk alone in the woods. Let your thoughts come and go like passing clouds in a vast sky. Don't try to fix anything, plan anything, or judge anything. Just be. At first, I promise you, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will scream for stimulation like an addict. It will tell you that you are wasting precious time, that you are being lazy or selfish. Ignore that voice. That discomfort is just the sound of your ego losing its frantic grip on your life. Stay in the silence until the muddy water of your mind finally clears. You will find that on the other side of that initial boredom is a deep, quiet, and radiant joy that doesn't need a reason to exist. It is the primal joy of simply being alive, and it is the greatest treasure a human can possess. The night is deep now, and the forest outside is perfectly, hauntingly still. Even the owls have gone quiet, respecting the weight of the darkness. In this profound stillness, if you listen with your soul, you can almost hear the mountains themselves breathing. This is the frequency of the universe, the heartbeat of existence, and you can only truly hear it when you are alone. It is a song of belonging that needs no words. It tells you that you are not a stranger or an accident in this world, but an integral, vital part of it. You are a leaf on the eternal tree of life, and the same ancient sap that runs through the stars runs through your very veins. You don't need the frantic applause of 1,000 strangers to be significant. You are significant because you are a conscious witness to all of this beauty. You are the universe waking up and experiencing itself through your eyes. And that is enough. That has always been, and will always be, enough. Sleep now, my friend. Let the vast silence of the mountains be your pillow tonight. Tomorrow, you will inevitably go back to the world of noise, deadlines, and people, but you will carry a small, glowing piece of this cabin within you. You will walk through the streets a little more rooted, a little more solid, and a little less desperate for the approval of the crowd. You have tasted the cold, clean strength of solitude, and it has made you a king of your own inner landscape. When people look at you tomorrow, they will wonder why you seem so calm and untouched in the middle of the storm. They won't know that you have a secret, eternal fire burning in a quiet place deep inside you that no one else can ever reach. Good night, sovereign soul. May your dreams be as deep as the mountain lakes and as quiet as the falling snow in the moonlight.